Welcome back to our second Thursday recipe. This week we're tackling stroganoff, packed full of pungent flavour, a proper winter warmer, and a dish that you need in your arsenal if you're going to be an accomplished home cook. Let's get it. Now, stroganoff is a story of three main components: onion, mushroom, and beef. The beef today we've got is sirloin, two stunning steaks, about 250 grams each. They're thick, they're fresh, there's a good amount of marbling in them, it's nice beef. Get your beef from your butcher, if not high-end supermarkets do all right cuts. For the mushroom side of the sauce, I've got a couple of different varieties. I've got a few enoki mushrooms, which are like these little fairy tale looking ones with a long stem and a tiny cap. Great flavour and a stunning appearance. A few oyster mushrooms. Now these, to prep them, you simply rip them apart. They split all the way down the stem, turn into these nice little feathers. Now the star of the show, portobello, big flat mushroom. To prep these, you peel away at the skin from the sides, all the way up the dome of the mushroom until you hit the top. We're just gonna cut off the stem and a few of the gills, take those into slices, and then they go into your bowl. Little chestnut mushrooms, same thing again, but we're not peeling them this time. Take the bottom off, in half, and in half again. Now your mushrooms are all prepped up, stick those to one side, and we're gonna hit it with the onion. Just a normal brown skin onion, top off, bottom off, cut it in half, and then get rid of the skin. Then you take your half of the onion and going through the semicircles, you just slice. You want them about 3 to 4 mil thick, not terribly thin. You want them to retain some of that structure. Into a bowl, then we're onto our garlic. 3 cloves down onto the board. And this I just rock the knife through and finely slice. And if you get into the bit at the end of the garlic that's a little bit wobbly, put the flat side down to the board and slice through again. Into the onion and garlic, put a little bit of thyme. This just helps fragrance the dish from the first stage of cooking. Once you start to cook this stroganoff, you can't really stop. So that's why I get my mushrooms prepped and my onions sliced before the meat sees the heat. Get your steaks onto your board, and then we're just gonna take them, flatten them slightly, and then take them into long strips. Use a sharp knife for this, and when your strips are ready, lay them out onto a tray. You wanna try and keep their shape as much as possible. So we've taken the steak into strips, and now we're left with the fat. This fat I'm just gonna render out in a pan. We're looking for about a medium-high heat. I'm gonna drop those pieces of fat in, and just to get the connection from the fat and the metal, start to get the heat in there and warm it up, add a tiny touch of sunflower oil. Now turn your heat up, get all that fat rendered out. In the meantime, we can season our steak. So you want to get a good pinch of salt all over the strips, and also a good pinch of pepper. So they will start to spit and pop slightly, but what you're looking for is a deep golden brown, a good crackle, and the rendering of fat. Now once you've extracted the fat, just take these out, set them aside, little chef snacks. And what you're left with is this smoking hot pan of beef fat, ready for those little strips of sirloin steak. Now it's really important that you cook the beef in batches. You don't overcrowd the pan and cool it down. You caramelize and sear the outside of those strips. Try not to overcook the middle. Give them about 30 seconds each side. Once they're golden brown, flip them over. Now they're caramelized, I'm gonna take them back onto a tray. These are gonna get cooked again, so don't worry about the raw cooked mix. And then into that pan goes our next strips. So now the beef is set aside, we're looking to caramelize our onions and our mushrooms. Onions straight into the pan. Little pinch of salt and pepper. Give those a quick caramelize and a stir for about a minute, just to start building the color, breaking those onions down. Then after that stage, we add the mushrooms on top. Now at this point, it's all about the caramelization. We want a deep golden caramelization on those mushrooms and on those onions. That's gonna take a little bit of time. So control your temperature, stay over it, give it some love. When those mushrooms hit the pan, they will dry it out slightly, and that's because they're absorbent. But during the cooking process, once they start to break down, they'll release that juice and release that fat back into the mix. Now the sauce for a stroganoff is quite a unique one. There's a couple of flavor profiles you need to hit in order to make it right. That's flambé cognac, a little pinch of smoked paprika, a good hit of mustard, beef stock, and sour cream. That's for the viscosity and the depth of the sauce. So what we're looking for now is deep golden brown caramelization, glossy vegetable, the aroma of thyme and garlic filling the room. Now for the fun bit, a little bit of flambé. Cognac straight into the pan, allow it to evaporate, and we go in with the flame. Now we've got the flavor of cognac torched, we can go in with our stock. The caramelization is done. The addition of smoke and fire from the cognac is done. Now it's a game of reduction. Little bit of smoked paprika into the pan. Good hit of Dijon mustard. Now the thickness, that unctuous creamy texture you get in a great stroganoff comes from sour cream. Don't be shy on this. Stick a good amount straight into the pan. It's delicious. So at the minute, what you're looking at is a bit of an off-red, slightly watery pan. But as you'll see, the reduction turns this into a super glossy, fragrant sauce. My steak is colored. My sauce is reducing. We're just gonna chop some chives and some parsley to finish the dish, and then we'll get serving. Now to chop chives, you get them all lined up. Engage with your knife and rock. The parsley, just gonna roll up and slice through. So I've just removed the thyme stalk. That's done its job completely. And now we're at the finishing stages of reduction, where it starts to get really thick, really glossy. We're just gonna rectify the seasoning with salt and pepper. And at this stage, we turn it off. Now with the thickness of that sauce and the heat left in the pan, we add our steak. And with a fold and a stir, we glaze all that steak with that stunning fragrant sauce. Now the fragrance and the flavor of this sauce is massive. So when you serve it, you just wanna put it with something plain like mashed potato or white rice. So to the pan, we just add a little bit of parsley and some of those chopped chives, and they get mixed in to all that shiny, homogenized, reduced sauce. So just take your bowl of rice, your most trustworthy wooden spoon, and serve. A few sprinkles of herbs, hit a black pepper. That's my stunning one-pan wonder winter warmer done. Beef stroganoff with stunningly cooked sirloin steak, that variety of deeply caramelized mushroom, onion, garlic, thyme, paprika, cognac, Dijon, sour cream, and a beautifully reduced beef stock. That's my stroganoff done. Thank you. Tonight, Matthew,